Let us start our webinar. Good evening, friends. After 4 months, again today we are meeting in this particular CP study circle. Today we have seminar on GSTR 9 and 9C. We have a wonderful speaker, you can say enthusiastic, young and very energetic speaker. He's very helpful. I think all the professionals, all the chartered accountants are busy with your tax audit work and other assignments. Still, you know that after once we complete our tax audit by 15th February, we have to again tackle the annual return of GSTR 9 and 9C by 28th February. As of now, 28th February is the extended due date of annual filing of GST. Even if we know that this year we have no certification in GSTR 9C, still we have to take care of GSTR 9 and 9C of all our clients. So once we complete our tax audit, income tax audit assignments, we have to tackle the GST. So I think today's webinar is relevant, and the speaker will help us to understand the basic things also. He will teach us, or he will go through the basic from the basic levels. He will explain everything. With this, I request our CP study circle member, CA Vipul Jadhav, to do a formal introduction of today's speaker. Vipul, please.
Firstly, I would like to thank all the committee members of Panvel CP Study Circle for giving me this opportunity to introduce CA Gautam Lat sir. CA Gautam Lat sir is a qualified CA and partner with IRA and Associates with over 9 years of professional experience in indirect taxation. He has prepared various representations to government on key industry issues, including representation to Parliamentary Select Committee on GST. He has also developed various tech-based solutions relating to GST. He is a core member of Indirect Studies Group of WRC of ICAI since past 2 years. He is a founding member of YCAC, Young Chartered Accountants Connect. He is also nominated for GST and Indirect Tax Committee in financial year 2021 and Digital Transformation and Technology Committee in financial year 1920 at WRC of ICAI. He is a regular speaker at various study circles of GST and has also contributed in various publications, including WRC references. This brief introduction, I would like to request CA Gautam sir to begin the seminar.
Thank you, Vipulji. Thank you so much.
Happy learning to all the participants.
Thank you, Vipulji, for such a kind introduction. And first of all, thank you, the study circle, for having me today here and giving me opportunity to share my views. Friends, so let us quickly discuss today's topic. So we'll go through the practical aspect. I would, since we are not doing it physically, I would love to hear you in the chat box. If any queries, please do keep posting. And if we can make it interactive, that would be, really helpful. And I think we'll enjoy this session. Since, the session and the forms are little complicated, as we all know, it's GSTR 99C. If we keep in, I think we need to mute. Okay. So if we keep interacting, I think we will learn more, and it will be, helpful for both of us that, we'll learn more today. So the idea is that, we are doing GSTR 99C since last 4 years, 17, 18 we have done, 18, 19 we have done, 19, 20 we have done, and this year we have done for, we are in the process of doing for 2021. So first of all, what is the new? So let us understand what's new this time, why there's a need to have this session, and what extra we are going to do which we have not done in the last few years, or is there any change what we used to do. So the first thing is that so 9C, sometimes basic query which I am sure all of us be receiving from clients, that there is no need to do any 9C. So friends, the idea is that the 9C is there, the reconciliation statement is there. What has been removed is just a signature of chartered accountant. So it is not need to be certified by a CA, but we have to file the reconciliation statement, at least part A as used to be, we used to file. So the statement remains same. So please don't forget, or whenever you speak with the client or any queries come, that whether we need to file GST and 9C, we have to be very mindful that 9C is there, and we are supposed to file if we are crossing the threshold. As we all know that the threshold is 5 crore rupees to file 99C. Between 2 to 5 crore GST and 9 is mandatory, and below 2 crore GST and 9 is optional, but we cannot file GST and 9C. So this is the threshold, and this is the background. So the first question, we all know that this is the form, and we have to do all this turnover reconciliation, ITC reconciliation, table 6, table 4. But where to start from? Sitting today, we all are advising clients how to start with GST and 9C. What is the first step? So friends, the first step would be that we need to prepare a list of our clients, whoever our clients are there. The first thing is to prepare a list of our client and plotting of the turnover. When we say the turnover need not to be as per books of account, it need not to be as per 3B. Okay, it has to be as per GSTR, GST turnover. So GST defines aggregate turnover as per section 2(6) of GST law, that it is the aggregate value of all the supplies made during the year. So we have to define a turnover, okay, and we have to plot the turnover against the client. So suppose if I am having 100 clients, the first step is to plot the aggregate turnover of those 100 clients and identify that where GSTR 990 should be filed, where GSTR 9 to be filed, and where it is optional, but we have made certain mistakes, or we might have made certain mistakes. So it is good, or it is advisable to file GSTR 9. So my friends will discuss how to compute that aggregate turnover. But in case if we feel any kind of confusion on computing of aggregate turnover, I'll advise that we'll prepare 4 columns: the name of the client, turnover as per GSTR 1, turnover as per GSTR 3B, turnover as per books of accounts, tax audit report, audited financial statement. We might come to know nearby what is there, and then we have to make few adjustment like branch transfer, anything we are doing as principal to agent. So after that adjustment, you would be able to arrive at turnover. So the first thing is to determine that which form is applicable to us, whether it is only GSTR 9, whether it is GSTR 99C, and what is the turnover which is actually we have to report in GSTR 99C. So this is the definition of aggregate turnover. I have tried to cover few general questions, whether they are included or not. So the definition is all taxable supplies plus all interstate supplies plus exempted supplies plus export minus taxes. Okay, this is my aggregate turnover. Obviously it includes deemed supply. Aggregate turnover does not include value of inward supply on which tax is payable under RCM. So are we saying that if I am providing GTA services, for example, on which reverse charge has to be paid by the client, whether that has to be included in aggregate turnover or not? If anyone can write in chat box. So my question is that when we say that turnover does not include reverse charge supplies, whether it is talking about my inward supply or whether it is talking about my outward supply. So to answer this, this is talking about my inward supplies, which is not included. Friends, if you are providing any kind of security services, you are providing any kind of sponsorship services, GTA services, okay, which is your outward service, still we have to include those services to compute the aggregate turnover. Then if I'm selling some securities, I might be selling some shares, I made some investment, I'm selling mutual fund units, I'm selling debt securities. whether the sale value of those has to be included in turnover. So suppose I have a turnover of 4.5 crore and I have sold shares worth rupees 50 lakh rupees or 60 lakh rupees, whether 9C would be applicable? The answer is no, because sale of security is neither service nor goods as defined. So it is not to be included for the purpose of computing the limit of GSTR 99C. What about sale of alcohol? Whether it has to be included? So sale of alcohol is an exempt supply. It has to be included. What about dividend? So again, the dividend is not includable. Stock transfer within state. So if I'm doing stock transfer from Maharashtra to Gujarat, then we have to include that in my aggregate turnover. As we all know, it is considered as deemed supply and has to be included for the purpose of computation of aggregate turnover for GSTR 99C. But what if I am doing stock transfer within state? So I have two units, one in Pune and the second one is Maharashtra. I have a turnover of 4 crore in Pune and 1.5 crore in Maharashtra, or I would say 50 lakh rupees in Maharashtra, Mumbai. So total turnover of Pune and Mumbai unit is 4.5 crore. But I have made certain stock transfer of 1 crore rupees from Mumbai to Pune. Whether GST R9C would be applicable in this scenario? Reconciliation statement. I hope chat box is open. If anybody would like to answer, they can mention in chat box. Okay. So when we say turnover, it does not include within stock transfers. Okay, outside stock transfer is included, but since within stock transfer is not a supply, it does not include within stock transfers. Okay. Then one question, is very common, which we generally receive from clients. One query, that whether interest income by way of earned by way of extending deposit in PPF and bank accounts, saving accounts, loan advances given to family, friends, along with the value of taxable supply, whether that has to be included. So suppose if I have a taxable turnover of 4.5 crore and I have an interest income in saving bank account, or interest on my loan which I have given to my family and friends, if it's an individual file or it's a company, if I have a interest on those securities, or interest on NCDs, or interest on bank account, or interest on FDs, 60 lakh rupees of interest, whether that has to be included for the purpose of GSTR 99C or not. So the answer is that ideally it should not be considered as a supply, but there is a one AAR, Sri Savai Manohar Lal Rathi. It's an Gujarat AAR which has ruled out that the aggregate turnover also includes the interest amount from the saving bank account. So therefore, we generally advise to the client not to take the risk and go ahead with the filing of GSTR 9C in such a scenario, and consider the same for the purpose of filing GSTR 9C. This is about aggregate turnover. I hope the concept of turnover is clear. So friends, when we assess the turnover, so we are going step by step. So I have made a list of clients, I have assessed the turnover, I have mentioned the turnover, and now I know that which client has which type of turnover and how much turnover is there. So we assess the classification, whether I need to file GSTR 9 only, whether I need to file GSTR 99C both, or it's an optional, it is below 2 crore. Once you assess the thing, then the second thing start, how many GSTR 99C has to be filed. Suppose a client has multi-state locations, or which type of client it has to be filed. So let us see a scenario. There is a registered person, ABC Limited. It is located at 4 states. In Maharashtra, it is selling only exempted goods. Turnover is 5 crore. In Telangana, it is only selling taxable goods. Turnover is 1 crore. In Karnataka, it has a registration of ISD registration, Input Service Distributor registration. In Rajasthan, it is also making export as well as local sale. However, in the financial year 2021, it has a turnover of nil turnover. So friends, the question is that how many GSTR 99C I am supposed to file. So I know we have defined the turnover, that the turnover has to be computed. I have to include exempt goods, I have to include taxable goods. So by including exempt and taxable goods, whether I have to do state specific or I have to do at PAN level. So the law says that it has to be computed on for a single PAN at PAN India basis. How, it doesn't matter how many registrations you have, the limit of 5 crore has to be computed on PAN India basis. So now I know that 5 plus 1, 6 crore rupees makes is a assessee liable for filing GSTR 9C. Okay. Now the question is that do I need to file in all 4 states, or I need to file only in the states where the turnover is individually crossing 5 crore? This is another question which we have to answer before proceeding, that how many GSTR 99C I'm supposed to file. So as per law, friends, I have to file for all the states. Okay, so I have to file for Maharashtra also, I have to file Telangana also, and I have to file Rajasthan also. Oh, I missed Karnataka. So why not for Karnataka? So friends, when it is defined that if I am an ISD registration, I am not supposed to file GSTR 99C for that number. So suppose in Maharashtra I am having a ISD number, I am having a normal number. So when you have ISD number, it is a different GSTN than your normal GSTN number. You are not supposed to file GSTR 99C for those numbers. Similarly, if I have casual taxable person registration in Karnataka, I am not supposed to file GSTR 99C over there. So these are a few exclusions from GSTR 99C. Now, coming to the second, example. So there is a Mr. Kellogg. Mr. Kellogg sells a piece of land for rupees 11 crore during financial year 2021. Okay. Now, Mr. Kellogg has received rent of 75 lakh rupees during financial year 2021 for a shop. So Mr. Kellogg owns one land and one shop. From the shop, he has received rent of 75 lakh rupees, and land he has sold at 11 crore rupees. So total his P&L account shows receipt of 11.75 crore. So whether Mr. Kellogg would require to file GSTR 9C, by going the definition of turnover, we have seen whether Mr. Kellogg requires to file GSTR 9C. If anybody want to answer. Anyone? Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. Sir, anyone? Jomanji, you would like to answer whether I'm supposed to file GSTR 9C? Only 75 lakh will be taxable. I agree, Vipulji, only 75 lakh will be taxable. But
Yes,
whether I am supposed to file GSTR 9C?
your 11.75
So the answer
will be
is that,
taken as exempted supplies.
okay, so the answer of this, that Mr. Kellogg would not require to file GSTR 9C, since sale of land is covered under Schedule 3 items, which are neither supply of goods nor supply of services. So we have a schedule which says that items which are neither supply of goods nor supply of services, it is covered over there. So it will not be considered for the purpose of GSTR 99C, and therefore I am not supposed to file GSTR 9C in this such a scenario. Okay. However, I am supposed to pay rental on 75 lakh rupees. Okay. So now quickly see few things. Another FAQs relating to GSTR 99C. Is it mandatory to file all GSTR 1 and 3B before filing GSTR 9C? Yes, friends, it is mandatory that we should file all GSTR 99, all GSTR 1 and GSTR 3B and all the returns before before filing GSTR 99C. Whether a registered person who is exclusively having exempt supplies of goods or services exceeding rupees 2 crore be required to file Form GSTR 9. So suppose I am exclusively dealing in exempted supplies. Okay, I don't have to pay any tax. Whether I am supposed to file GSTR 9 in such a scenario, Vipulji is saying yes. Yes, sir. So I am supposed to file GSTR 9, because even if it is for exempt supplies, the law does not say anywhere or give any relaxation for that part. What are the consequences of failure in submitting the annual return and not filing GSTR 9C? So let us understand what are the consequences. So there's a penalty which is prescribed, the late fees. So the late fee is 100 rupees per day. When we say 100 rupees per day, it is 100 rupees in CGST Act and friends 100 rupees in SGST Act. So the total is 200 rupees per day. So if I fail to file GSTR 9, okay, I'm supposed to pay 200 rupees per day of penalty. What is there any maximum cap? So yes, we have a maximum cap of 0.5% of the turnover in that state. So suppose if I am having a turnover of 10 crore rupees and I forgot to file GSTR 9 for the for period 2017-18. I think I'm supposed to pay the highest penalty. The penalty can go, late fee can go up to 0.5% of 10 crore rupees, which is close to 5 lakh rupees I have to pay as a penalty. So it has a severe consequences. If it is applicable and we do not file it. I'm sure most of us have seen recently notices have been issued for the people who have surrendered their registration and forgot to file GSTR 10. The department has started recovering penalty. So please, friends, please be mindful. If you have not filed any GSTR 99C, which was applicable on the client, okay, and if you forgot to file that, please be mindful and please file the same, okay. Otherwise, you never know, after 4 years or 5 years down the line, they'll suddenly wake up and issue a notice that you have to pay 0.5% of your turnover, which will be, very rigorous penalty. On GSTR 9C per se, there is no penalty, but obviously, there's a penalty on non-compliance in GSTR 9, so they can, in GST law, so they can definitely recover 25 plus 25, 50,000 rupees for non-filing of GSTR 9C as well. This 50,000 is in addition to 200 rupees, which what we are paying, every day. Till now, I have personally not seen any notices for GSTR 9C penalty, but in case future it has been issued, I won't be surprised. So let's quickly go through the form. So friends, this is so we'll quickly go through the form. This is one Excel, which I have created. Okay. So this is form GSTR 9. Okay, there are certain changes in 2021. We'll go through it. So we'll quickly have a look at it and then we'll see how to fill it. So this is, my GSTR 9. Table 1 is general details, legal name, financial year, trade name, everything. Table 4 is for, my outward supplies, taxable outward supplies, I would say. Table 5 is for my outward supply, exempt outward supplies or zero rated supplies, export and everything. Table 6 is for my ITC. I have to provide ITC details. Table 7 is for ITC reversal. Table 8 is my reconciliation with 2A, 2B, whatever we say. So one query, I would like to take up over here. Generally, one FAQ which we receive is that which we need, what is we need to follow. It is 2A or 2B. So friends, I think वो 2A, 2B की लड़ाई 2B ने अभी जीत ली है. So they have made the amendment and the amendment is also effective section 16 to AA. So now whenever we are doing any reconciliation for clients, while at the time of assessment, also at the time of monthly return filing also, or at the time of GSTR 99C also, we have to keep in mind that we have to follow GSTR 2B. Okay, because 2B is a static figure. Then we have this GSTR table 9. Table 9, friends, please be mindful. This is one of the most important table, and this is one of the table where most of us have made mistakes in 2017, 18 and 18, 19. This is an editable table. In most of the scenario, it requires to be edited. Okay, so we have to be very careful and keep in mind that we should go through table 9 before submitting any kind of GSTR 9C. Then we have part 5 of GSTR 9, which is next year financial year adjustment, which we are doing current year period. Table 15 is other information relating to refund. Then we have goods on approval basis. Then we have HSN summary, HSN inward summary, and then Table 19 is for late fees. This is form GSTR 9, which we generally call annual return. Then we have GSTR 9C. Again, part 1 is generic detail. Part 2 is for my revenue reconciliation. Part table 7 is for my taxable turnover. Table 9 is for my rate, rate classification. One thing which has been changed, which was not there in 2019-20, is this one. Earlier the rate was fixed. They have not envisaged any kind of other GST rate not listed above. Suppose I am paying any kind of GST which is not covered over here. Okay, they were not having any kind of provision in the form. So now they have amended it, and they have mentioned that any other rate which you would like to pay, you can pay over here. Then probably this can be used for the construction industry, because they have a different type of rate, 7.5%. Earlier there was a confusion whether it has to be shown at 5% or in others. So now we can show if we have builder clients who are paying if they are into affordable housing or non-affordable housing, we can pay at 1.5 or 7.5%. So we can show for the construction industry. This is one of the example. So we have to show over there. Then we have additional payable due to any reconciliation, and then we have table 12. Table 12 is nothing but table 12 is ITC table, my ITC table, whatever I have to do as ITC. Okay. And then I have expense bifurcation wherever I have claimed ITC, and then I have table 15 and additional liability due to non-reconciliation. Earlier the heading used to be auditor recommendation or auditor recommendation for the liability. The headings have gone for a change. They also introduced this rate over here also, others, and they have changed this verification. Earlier it used to be a smaller verification, and then we used to have part 0.5. We used to have participants can post your queries and questions. Yeah, please, if you can keep posting, I will keep taking queries simultaneously. We used to have a different kind of verification statement over there, which has been changed now. Now it has, the entire onus is on the business, that they have not concealed anything, and they have uploaded everything whatever is required, and they know everything, and they also including all the details of balance sheet and everything. And the part B has been removed, the certification one. Okay, so quickly, so we have done 3 steps till this time. We have made a listing that on which what type of form is applicable. Now first step, we know that which client we have to file GSTR 9, for which client we have to file GSTR 9C. Then we have decided that how many GSTR 99C is to be filed if they have multiple registrations, how many states I have to file, if they have ISD, whether I am supposed to file or not. We have answered that you are not required to file. So now I know which form is to be filed, and I also know how many forms is to be filed. Okay, now we come to the filing of the form. So the first question which comes to the mind, that from where to start. Okay, so I'll which data I have to consider, whether it has to be from GSTR 1, it has to be from GSTR 3B, or should I consider as per books. This is always a question since last 4 years, and still we are not able to answer which data we have to consider. So friends, technically when we say that from where we should start, so GSTR 9 is auto populated on the basis of GSTR 1. So we have to understand. So GSTR 1 data has already been auto populated in GSTR 9. Okay, we have to consider, please keep in mind, we have to consider books and GSTR 3B when we file, whether it is only GSTR 9 or it is GSTR 99C, both. We have to consider both the details of books as well as 3B. We have to keep both the details in mind, and we'll see what type of scenario, whatever is suitable, we need to fill the figures accordingly. Okay, so let me first start with GSTR 9C. Okay, why I am starting with the GSTR 9C? Because if you understand GSTR 9C, so GSTR 9C is the end report. So first we file GSTR 9C, then the figures are getting flowed. First we file GSTR 9, which is annual return. From annual return, the figures are getting flowed to GSTR 9C. Okay, So the GSTR 9C is the end report, which is reconciliation statement. So let us understand what is expected at the last, and we'll go reverse. Okay. So if I am supposed to file GSTR 99C both, let us understand what is expected in GSTR 9C. If I know what is expected in GSTR 9C, we'll do a backward calculation that how should I fill my GSTR 9. So keep in mind whenever you file GSTR 9, whether GSTR 9C is applicable or not, or reconciliation statement is applicable or not, keep in mind that how this will flow to GSTR 9C. I have prepared a small Excel. If you want, I can share it with you. You know how the data will flow from GSTR 9 to GSTR 9C. Okay. So the first thing, we have to start is the turnover. Okay, this is table 5A. Turnover as per audited financial statement. Okay, you have to blindly, I'm repeating, you have to blindly mention the figure as per audited financial statement. You don't have to do any adjustment over here. Okay, in table 5A, okay, whatever turnover you have as per your audited financial statement, you have to include it. So when we go through a standard balance sheet, we have revenue from operations, other income. Okay, so we have to total it up, and then we have to mention over here if I am having a single registration. If I am having multiple registrations, suppose I have two registration, one is Maharashtra and the second is Gujarat. Okay, so I have to divide, friends, I have to divide revenue which I have reflected in P&L in two states. One is Maharashtra and the second is Gujarat. In Maharashtra 9C, I have to show Maharashtra one. In Gujarat GSTR 9C, I have to show Gujarat one. But the total of both the state should be matching with the total of my P&L revenue. Okay. In some cases, we have extraordinary items also, which is reflected separately. Okay. So we have to take that into consideration depending on the nature of the same. So the first point is to start from my audited balance sheet, so we do not miss out on anything. Just a minute, I think. Give me a minute, I think. Yeah. So coming back, uh, so the total of these two, it doesn't matter how many states you are filling. Okay, the total of it should match with your audited financial statement. This is the basic, because that is the Bible for me, because I cannot go beyond audited financial statement. I have to start from there. So that is my starting point. Then I have to keep doing adjustments. Okay. We'll quickly discuss what type of adjustment is required, and then we'll come back to this Excel. So turnover, the data of turnover extracted GSTN wise and ultimately at consolidated level. So now the question comes कि ठीक है सर, आपने बोला कि हमको P&L से लेना है. What about construction industry or commission agent? In construction industry, I am doing my revenue booking at percentage completion method, or as per AS9, as per India AS9, I'm following different method which has nothing to do with my GST liability. Should I still go ahead and consider the revenue which I have disclosed in P&L, or should I take the total of demand notes issued during the year? So friends, it doesn't matter which industry you are into, you have to consider total revenue as mentioned in audited financial statement, whether it is relevant, whether it includes accrued income, whether it is entirely notional income, whether it has only adjustment of Ind AS, it has only financial instrument Ind AS, whether you have done a different kind of lease accounting to arrive at the revenue. Whatever revenue has been audited by the statutory auditor, that is my starting point for GSTR 99C. Okay, so I'll start my GSTR 9C from there. whether dividend, interest, foreign fluctuations, profit on sale of asset, etc. It has to be included. Yes, it has to be included because it is obviously becoming part of my other income. So obviously it has to be included. Debit note raised by crediting expense account. I have made certain recovery. So suppose I have recovered packaging expenses from my clients. Okay, I'm selling certain goods and I'm recovering packaging expenses from my client. Instead of booking it as my revenue in sales account, what I have done, I have routed it through my packaging expense account or my expense account. Okay, so my expense account has reduced and it is not reflecting in my revenue. I have paid the GST, I have charged the relevant GST, I have paid it also. So whether it has to be included in table 5A, no. Whatever is there on the face of the P&L, we have to start from
Hello. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, let us wait. Let us wait. Participants, just wait. I think some network issues are there from speaker side. Just wait.
I'm sorry, I think there was some issue. I got disconnected.
Yes, please continue. Now it is clear.
Okay. So we were discussing about unbilled revenue and advances outstanding at the financial year. Uh, okay. When we say that advances, so whatever advances is outstanding at the financial year, obviously we have to include, because as we all know that GST is liable to be paid on advances. What about advances on goods? So friends, advances on goods have been exempted. Okay, so advances on services is the only thing which we have to show as advance outstanding at the financial year, because those are the only taxable amounts which are liable to GST. So this is how we will uh, go with the form. I think I am not able to share my screen. I'll just show. Is it visible now?
It's visible.
Okay. Then we come to the most important part, which is deemed supply under Schedule 1. So, the the most relevant or the most the famous transactions of deemed supply is stock transfer between two branches. So, stock transfer on between two branches is obviously not included in my revenue in financial statement. However, I am supposed to pay the GST on it. So, friends, this is nothing but arriving GST turnover from my audited turnover. Okay, so I'm adding and I'm making adjustments step by step so I can arrive at my GST taxable value. So I have started from my revenue in P&L and now I am arriving at my taxable value as per GST law. So obviously stock transfer is not included in the financial statement. However, it is liable to tax. So what I'm supposed to do, that I have to include it and I have to add those transactions to my P&L revenue, so I'll arrive at taxable value. Okay, so stock transfers, then the gift which has been given by employer, more than 50,000 gift which is liable to tax. So those type of transactions I have to include over here. uh, and there is no direct source, we have to rely on the obviously the client is giving the information, so we have to rely on it. If any common cost is getting allocated, we have to see if there any kind of cross charge which is happening. One thing I would like to briefly touch upon, that cross charge versus IST. Recently, in GST audit, departmental GST audit, wherever we are having multiple registrations, department has raising questions on GST audits. uh, whether I am liable to do cross charge or whether I am doing IST. Friends, I feel that it is completely on the option of assessee. If you are operating two registrations, I would suggest to advise to the client to have at least one of the practice. Either they should apply for ISD or they should do cross charge, because generally it does not happen that I have unit in Maharashtra and I have unit in Gujarat, and Maharashtra unit, if being an HO, is not doing anything for Gujarat. Obviously, being an HO, they are providing some services to Gujarat unit, and we are supposed to do cross charge for the same. So ideally, we should be doing cross charge. If the Gujarat credit is 100% taxable unit and they are eligible to claim the credit, it doesn't matter how much cross charge you do, it has to be accepted by the department. We have Rule 28 to safeguard that thing. Uh, then we come to the credit note issued after the end of the financial year but reflected in the annual return. Some credit note which has been issued after the end of the financial year but annual return में वो मेरे आ रहा है. So those adjustment we have to go, we have to reduce that. Then trade discounts which has been accounted in financial statement but not permissible under GST. Any discounts which has not agreed upon at the time of supply. Suppose any discounts which I have agreed after supply, it is not deductible as per section 15(3). The discounts which I agree on or before or at the time of supply is only I am allowed to deduct from my GST value. But as per P&L, as per accounting standard, I can deduct those discounts from my sale price. So my revenue will be shorter of that in my financial statement. So I have to add those discount back to arrive at my taxable value. And obviously 17, 18 का अभी तक option आ रहा है. Then unbilled revenue I have to again reduce. Then advances outstanding at the beginning of the financial year. Similarly, how I am paying taxes on advances outstanding this year, I must have paid taxes on advances outstanding in 1920. So I have to reduce those amount, because for those I might have done billing today. So anyway, what I am doing, suppose 100 rupees was advance outstanding at the beginning, in 1920, and 120 is the advance outstanding in 2021. So technically I am supposed to pay GST on 20 additional, because that is the additional money which I have received, on which I might not have raised invoices. Okay, so through this exercise, what we are doing, we are adding 120 and then we are reducing 100. So we are arriving at 20 rupees, which we are adding to my turnover as per audited financial statement. Credit note accounted for in the audited financial statement but are not permissible under GST. Different type of credit note, one example I have given, post delivery discounts, or so there are only two type of credit note which is allowed. And if any credit note which I have issued after September for the previous financial year, any financial credit note, but the credit note has to be reduced from sales as per accounting standard, but they might not be permissible under GST. So we have to add those type of credit note. SEZ or DTA का कुछ adjustment है. Then section 15, is valuation section. I have to arrive at a different type of valuation. If I have to do any valuation, all of these are optional. So friends, similarly, whatever I have highlighted in red, all of these table are optional table for 2021. You can fill it, or you can disclose all these adjustment in table 5 also. Or any kind of adjustment which was not covered above, we can show in table 5.4. Any type of adjustment like sale of capital goods, purchase return reported as supply, goods sent on approval, which has been sold now but has not reported in financial statement, any Ind AS adjustment which has been done, any notional income which I have booked in my financial statement but not liable to GST. So all these type of adjustment I can do in 5.4. Dividend income which is not liable to GST. So we can do all these type of adjustment in table 5.4. Duty drawback income, I might have done some exports and I might have received certain drawbacks. Those drawbacks will be reflecting in my financial statement in other income or other operational income, but it is not liable to GST. So I can reduce in table 5.4. It is not an income per se, it is not a supply per se. So these type of adjustment I can do in table GST and 9C. If any differences, I have to highlight the reason of difference. Then we have reconciliation of taxable turnover. So once I arrive at my total turnover as per GST, then I have to reduce zero rated supply on which I have not paid the tax, exempt rated, exempt supply, and I will arrive at taxable turnover. That taxable turnover has to be divided on rate wise. So I have to divide that taxable turnover among different type of rates, and then I have to pay the GST. So quickly we'll go over here. So friends, we have started from turnover as per financial statement. We have done these type of adjustment, different adjustments. Okay, now any adjustment will do over here. This is my annual turnover as per financial statement, arriving over here after this adjustment, and this is my turnover as per GSTR 9. So let's assume a scenario. I am having 1 lakh rupees of B2C supply, only 1 lakh rupees, and I have paid 18,000 of GST. Okay, so B2C supply will be disclosed over here, 1 lakh and 18,000. This will flow down to over here. This is my total turnover. Okay, this will be linked in my GSTR 9C. It will automatically flow to my 5Q, row number 33. Okay, suppose out of this 1 lakh, I have 90,000 as revenue and 10,000 stock transfer. So I'll start from 90,000 over here, and now I have done 10,000 rupees of stock transfer, which is liable to GST. Or I have done some transactions which is not reflecting in, let's assume I have done some recovery, expense recovery, which is not being part of revenue in my P&L. So what I'll do, I'll come over here in my other adjustment. Okay, I'll add up 10,000 over here, and I'll arrive at 1 lakh rupees. 1 lakh matching, there is no difference. Then it will flow automatically, will flow down to over here 1 lakh rupees. Okay, if it is exempt, I'll mention over here. If it is export, I'll mention over here export or SEZ supplies. If it is liable to reverse charge, okay, I'll mention over here. If it is not liable to reverse charge, then on what amount I am supposed to pay tax, it is 1 lakh rupees. Then this 1 lakh rupees have to be divided in the rate. Okay, so I have divided this 1 lakh rupees in 18%, 18% GST. Okay, similarly, see, in GSTR 9, we go to table 9. Table 9 is always editable. If I have paid through cash, it will come over here. So this portion of table 9 is not editable, but tax payable we can always edit. It has to be from 4 end. This is, my tax payable. Let's assume instead of 1 lakh rupees, I have paid taxes of 2 lakh rupees in my GSTR 3B or GSTR 1 also I have disclosed. So automatically what will happen? Okay, if I have wrongly disclosed the very same supply twice, so it will auto generate GSTR 9. Okay, it will show like this. Okay, this is auto generated GSTR 9. Okay, in table 9 it will come as 36,000, and I have paid through cash. Obviously 36,000 I have paid through cash. Okay, this is how it will look. But when you start doing reconciliation, my supply which is actually liable for tax is 1 lakh rupees only. So 90,000 plus 10,000 of expense recovery. Okay, so 1 lakh rupees I am supposed to pay tax. Now, after this, the turnover which I have disclosed in GSTR 9 is 2 lakh rupees, and automatically there's a difference of 1 lakh rupees. Okay, that's how the interplay of figures will be in GSTR 9 and 9C. Okay, so let's go through GSTR 9 and then we'll quickly see what is the spillover effect. Okay, in GSTR 9, friends, so what is changing, we'll just go to the changes, that what is different from 17, 18, 18, 19 and 9, 19, 20 and 2021. This is something different. Earlier we are supposed to give the classification. So there are three classification of my ITC: inputs, capital goods, or input services. Earlier, if I don't have classification, there was an option that I can disclose everything under the tab inputs. Now what they have done, they have said that you cannot disclose everything under the tab inputs. You have to mandatorily do classification between input. If you can do if you can services, you can input services together, but capital goods you have to do a classification. So this is one important point we have to be mindful while doing this year GSTR 9. The capital goods classification has to be shown separately in 6A also, 6B also, 6D also. Okay, now coming to the GSTR 9. So friends, this will be auto populated on the basis of GSTR 1. Okay, there are so this is obviously in table 4A, as name mentioned, I have to disclose all the supplies which I am making to customer B2C. Whatever supplies I am making to unregistered person will be reflected over here, net of credit note. Mindful, net of credit note. As we all know, in GSTR 1 also, whatever supplies I am doing to B2C customers or unregistered customers, I am disclosing it net of credit note. So similarly in GSTR 9 also, you have to disclose net of credit note. Okay, in table B, 4B is supplies made to B2B. If I am making any supplies to registered person, it will come over here. If I'm making any zero rated supply, friends, zero rated supply is nothing but export of goods and services or supplies to SEZ. As per section 16 of IGST Act, there are only two type of transactions which have been classified as zero rated supply. One is exports and the second one is supplies to SEZ unit or SEZ operations. So what will happen over here? Everything on which I have paid the tax will come. Okay, so in zero rated supplies, I have two options. Either I can pay tax and export, or I can export without paying of taxes under LUT. Can I do both for a year? Yes, we can do both for a year. So whomever I have paid the tax, on whatever transaction I have paid, the taxes will be disclosed over here. Zero rated supplies with payment of tax will come over here. Friends, zero rated supplies without payment of tax will come in table 5. Okay, so this we have to keep in mind. In table 4, whatever amount I am paying taxes will only be disclosed. In table 5, the remaining amount will be disclosed, be it exempt, be it zero rated supplies. Okay, so now come to supplies to SEZ on payment of tax. Again, in SEZ I have both the options. I can pay the taxes and I can do without taxes, without paying taxes under LUT. So if I'm paying taxes, it will be disclosed in table 4D. If I am not paying taxes, then it will be disclosed in table 5B, supplies to SEZ without payment of tax. Then deemed exports, if I am paying any taxes on deemed exports, transactions to EOU, transaction to STPI, so all these are deemed export transactions under AA, under advance authorization. So I have to disclose over here. Now, generally, one another mistakes we make, or sometimes we wonder that what about supplies to merchant exporter? So there's a notification 40/17 which says that I can supply to merchant exporter at 0.1%. Okay. Generally, I don't know why we have a tendency to call this transaction as deemed export. Friends, please remember, this is not deemed export. This is your normal B2B transaction. You are just selling at 0.1% because of the benefit under some notification. It is not deemed export. So never classify those transaction under deemed export. Okay. Please classify those transaction under B2B. You are selling something to merchant exporter at 0.1%. It is a normal B2B transaction. It is not deemed export. This is another mistake generally we made, during preparing GSTR 9. Then advances on which tax have been paid but invoices have been not been issued. So whatever advances I have received, please be mindful, this is only for services. Advances on goods is not liable to tax anymore. Okay, so any advances which I have received for services, I have to pay the taxes for which I have not made the invoices. So suppose I have received advances in the month of April I have paid the taxes in GSTR 3B, and I have raised the invoice in the month of September. Okay, so I have raise the invoice in month of the September, whether that will be disclosed in table 4F, the answer is no. Okay, it has already become part of table 4B because I have raised the invoices during the financial year. Here only will come for which I have not raised the invoices. Okay, and then obviously RCM. So anything you are paying under RCM, be it your GTA, be it ocean freight, be it any transactions on which you are paying taxes under RCM, will be disclosed under 4G. You will arrive at your liability. Then you can show credit note separately. This is only B2B or zero rated or deemed export credit notes. Okay, because B2C credit note will always go to table 4A. It will be shown as net off. Then debit note, that any amendment which you have made during the year you can disclose over here. In financial year 2021, all these tables are optional again. So you have a choice to adjust this on the above tables only. You don't have to write a figure over here. Generally it should be done because it is better for the presentation and for our future reference. Then we have table 5, whatever type of turnover on which we are not paying taxes is to be table 5. Just hold. Hello, sorry. So 5A is exempt supply. So on whatever I am not liable to pay the taxes, but it is still my part of aggregate turnover. What one is the zero rated supply we have discussed, supply to SEZ, supply on which tax has to be paid by the recipient. It is part of my outward supply, but my recipient has to pay. I'm talking about outward supply. Then my exempt supply, then nil rated supply, non GST supply. My alcohol or anything exempted. So go to the till 2021, I have an option that I can disclose exempt nil rated non GST supply together in the head of exempted supplies. And similarly, the credit notes relating to credit note, debit note amendments relating to table 5, zero rated supply, supply to SEZ. In 2021, this table is also, these rows also optional. So we have an option to disclose these figures netting of anything. Then we come to ITC part. So this is my outward supply. Then we come to ITC part. ITC table 6A will always be auto populated from your GSTR 3B which you have filed. Then you have inward supplies. So we have to bifurcate. So this is is necessary, that you have to bifurcate your credits in this. Friends, there is a press release which says that you have to only mention the figures relating to this financial year. So suppose I have claimed a credit of 100 rupees in financial year 2021. Okay, and those that 100 rupees also include credit of 20 rupees which pertains to financial year 1920. So over here, you'll have 100 rupees because you have claimed 100 rupees in GSTR 3B. However, let's assume it the entire credit pertains to input services. However, for the financial year it is only 80. So as per recent press release, we are supposed to disclose 80 only. So there are two different of thoughts, in this case. When we'll discuss case study, I'll let you know how much difference it is making. But in ideally scenario, you should disclose 80 rupees over here, because out of 100 which you have claimed in GSTR 3B in financial year 2021, only 80 belongs to this particular financial year. Okay, and then obviously you'll have a difference, which is okay. You can file GSTR 9 with this difference, and 80 will go to your table 12 of GSTR 9C from here. यहाँ पे in table 12C it will automatically flow, table 12E. Okay, this is auto linked and it will automatically flow to your GSTR 9. Now any kind of transactional, we divide, this is normal input, then this is my unregistered reverse charge which is no more there, then this is my normal RCM, this is my import of goods, any goods I have imported, be it capital goods input, then this is my import of services I have to disclose. If I have claimed any credit relating to IIT, I have distributed credit and I have claimed and I have disclosed, then any other amount reclaimed, so suppose if I have done any kind of reversal under 180 days and I'm reclaiming those credits, this has to be disclosed in table 6H. Then we have total, then we have transitional credits which is not no longer there anymore. Then we have table 7, any reversal. So on table 6 we have to disclose whatever we have claimed, then we have to see whatever I have reversed. So any type of reversal which we have made, rule 37, 39, 42, 43, exempt turnover, exempt supplies reversal, we have to disclose over here. Any section 17.5 which is block credit like motor vehicle, credit on health insurance, credit on samples, so we have to disclose over here. Again, in financial year 2021, these columns, these rows are optional. You can disclose everything together under 7H other reversal, which is okay. Anything you have to done reversal for tran 1 or tran 2, it has to be strictly disclosed over here. They have specifically mentioned in the press release that tran 1 credit has to be, reversal has to be disclosed separately over here. Then you have other reversal. Generally, if you have done any kind of reversal through form ITC 034 builders, for example, so these type of credits come over here. Then we come to table 8. Okay, again table 8 is an automated figure. It will automatically come from your consolidated GSTR 2B of financial year 2021. Okay, it will be generated on first, obviously, after filing of your September return, so it is generated on 1st of November. Okay, these figures, and now we have the detailing of also available in GST portal table 8A. It will automatically come. The sum of ITC claimed from above will come over here. It will reconcile. Okay, if there is any difference, you can give the reasoning over here. This is very important, friends. Again, we are again we are receiving notices on table 8C. So friends, anything, we have to do one reconciliation. When you do the reconciliation, if anything is lying in GSTR 2A, please be mindful that if anything which is there in GSTR 2A, and if we have not claimed it, okay, but we have booked those invoices in the next financial year, we have to identify them and we have to disclose in table 8C. Otherwise, what will happen if you don't disclose those figures over here, in the next year you will face difference. So suppose my 100 rupees has been shown in my GSTR 2A. I have claimed 80 this time, or 110 is there. Okay, I have claimed 80, 30 is the difference. However, those 30 invoices, I know the 30 and I have booked that in April 21. Okay, I have booked in April 21. It will not become part of GSTR 99C anywhere, because if I would have booked in 2021 and would have claimed in April 21, I should be disclosing under table 12 or 13. Okay, but I have booked those invoices, I have received those invoices in April only, and I have booked in April only, and I have claimed in April only. So that is the credit of 21-22. It is not a credit of 2021. Okay, however, since the vendor has raised invoices in March 21, he has disclosed in March GSTR1, and therefore it is getting reflected in my 2021 table 8A. Okay, so in an idealistic scenario, you should disclose these. If you have a bifurcation, these 30 rupees over here, so the next time, next time when you have a difference of 30 rupees, okay, suppose next year everything is matching, you have 80 credit, next year 80, you have claimed 110. Okay, so next year you'll have negative 30. So this negative 30 will get reconciled from this. So we have to think about, what will happen the next year, and if any kind of scrutiny or notices will come, if you give both the GSTR 9 and C, it is, very much easy for the officer also and for us also to explain and to convince him that we have not claimed any type of excess credit. Okay, so this table also, and this year we have to be very mindful while filing GSTR. GSTR 9. Earlier, there was an option, again, repeating that what has changed in 2021. Earlier, if you remember, there was an option that if your invoices are not getting reflected in table 8A, you can directly, upload a statement of invoicing and you can claim the credit. So that option has gone. So now you have to, show the figure. Friends, if you would like to upload the statement, my humble opinion is that you should still go ahead and upload in the statement. Then there is a table of GSTR 9 tax payable and tax paid. So here any kind of excess or short paid, suppose it will be reflected over here. Suppose there is a tax liability of 40,000. Okay, however you have paid only 36,000. Okay, so you will correct this 40,000 over here, you will disclose the correct values over here. Okay, so when you disclose correct values over here, this GSTR 9 table 9 will get changed, it will become 40,000. However, you have paid taxes only 36,000 in 3B. There's a difference of 4,000 which has to be paid by DRC 03. So this is how, this table is very, very, very important for the reconciliation part. Then we have, next year adjustment, which we say spillover effect, any liability of current year which we have disclosed in the next financial year to be reported in table 10. Any liability of current year which you have adjusted in the next financial year, you have reduced in the next financial year, has to be reported in table 11. Any credit which you for the financial year 2021, if you have reduced in financial year 21-22, it has to be reflected in table 12. Any credit of 2021 which you have availed in financial year 21-22 has to be reflected in table 13, and accordingly, on the basis of table 10 and 11, table 14 has to be prepared, payable and paid the next year. Table 15 is the details of refund, again it is an optional table. Table 16 is on sent on approval, again it's an optional table. Then we have HSN on outward, HSN on inward, this is also optional. But friends, one thing I would like to highlight, that we have to inculcate the habit of capturing HSN code. We have to inculcate habit in our clients to capture HSN code, because this year it is optional, tomorrow it might not be optional, and the minute it will become mandatory, it will be big headache for us to file GSTR 9 NC. So it is important that from today onwards only, during this year only, we prepare our client that, boss, you have to capture HSN code, because everywhere they are making mandatory. If you see in circular 135, in refund cases also they made mandatory to mention HSN code. So any everywhere they are changing and making it mandatory HSN code. So we should not be surprised in 21-22 GSTR 9 they make HSN code mandatory. So we have to be very careful, and we have to inculcate habit among our clients to capture HSN code. This is again very important point, that we have to educate them that ki boss aapko outward ka aur inward ka HSN code maintain karna hoga. Generally people do for outward, but inward ka koi karta nahi hai, so we have to be mindful about that. So this is about the form. Friends, we have discussed everything at length of GSTR 990, each and every column, from where the details has to be extracted, what type of details has to be mentioned. Now we go to few case studies. Okay, as we all know that what is to be mentioned. Okay, let me take few case studies. Any queries you can mention in the chat box. I'll quickly take it up. So the case one is that in financial year 2021, my 3B value is 1 lakh rupees. My GSTR1 is 1 lakh rupees. My as per books figure is 1 lakh rupees. Okay. Where do I disclose this turnover? As we all know, table 4 of GSTR9. Table 4 of GSTR9, I'll disclose 1 lakh rupees. If everything is matching, obviously it will get auto populated. I don't have to do anything. I'll just disclose it and pay the taxes of, and everything will match. So let's assume this is also 1 lakh. There is no adjustment. So it will match, it will match, it will match. The difference will be 0. It will match. In GSTR9 also I'll have everything, and this 36,000. Table 9, I'll obviously, if I have paid 18,000 in table, it will come 18,000 only. So there is no difference, there is no excess payment, everything will match. So this is my case 1. In case 2, let's assume a scenario in GSTR 3B. As per books, my figure is 1 lakh rupees only. In GSTR 3B, I have disclosed 80,000. In GSTR 1, I have disclosed 80,000. Okay. There can be two scenario possible. I have adjusted 20,000 in financial year 21-22. Let's assume a scenario where I have adjusted in financial year 20,000. I have adjusted in financial year 21-22. So then how to go about it? Okay, then friends, what we are supposed to do is that we are supposed to show 80,000 in table 4. So we'll quickly do it. We are supposed to do 80,000 over here. Okay, then I am keeping taxes same. Then in table 10, since I have paid the taxes in the next financial year, so this table, any taxes which I have paid in the next financial year, I'll disclose 20,000 because I have done in the next financial year. Again, if you see, the difference will be 0. The difference will be 0 because 80 plus 20. So if I don't disclose this 20, there is a difference of 20,000. But since I'm disclosing this 20,000 over here, in GSTR 9, see, there will be no difference. Okay, in GSTR 9 it will match, so everything will get matched. So in such a scenario, in my case study, I'll disclose 80,000 in table 4 in GSTR 9 and 20,000 in table 10. Okay, both will become 1 lakh rupees, which is my value as per books of accounts. Ultimately, I have to reach at books of accounts. So in a scenario where, as per books it is 1 lakh rupees, in 3B I have disclosed 80,000, but in 1 I have disclosed 90,000, and I have made the 20,000 payment in 21-22. So obviously auto populated figure will be 90,000. So what we are supposed to do, that we have to change that figure in table 4. Again, I have to disclose 80,000 because this is what I have paid. So when I disclose 80,000, 80,000 will flow to table 9. Okay, my payable and paid will match. There will be no difference. Okay, and since I have adjusted, since I have, so 1 lakh rupees as per books, I have disclosed 80,000 in 3B, I have disclosed 90,000 in GSTR 1, and I have adjusted 20,000 in 21-22. So I am supposed to disclose 80,000 in table 4, and I have to disclose 20,000 in table 10, the similar transaction. So see, this and this treatment is exactly same, even though GSTR 1 figures are different. Okay, so it doesn't matter whatever you disclose in GSTR 1, it will only be used for the purpose of classification and for auto population. What matters is GSTR 3B and books of accounts, and ultimately we have to reach to the books of accounts. When we go to case 4, it is 1 lakh rupees. In 3B I have disclosed 80, in GST I have disclosed 90. However, I have not paid this 20,000 in financial year 21-22. Till here, in the last scenario, what we were doing, we were paying pending, balance 20,000 in next financial year. In this case study, I am not paying this in the next financial year. So what I'm supposed to do? Then books will prevail. So any difference in 3B and books, which is not then books will fail. Okay, so what I'm supposed to do, I'll disclose 1 lakh rupees over here. Okay, 1 lakh rupees over here, and let's assume 1 lakh is my tax liability. 1 lakh rupees over here. Okay, since I have paid 80,000 only, obviously यहाँ पे 80,000 आएगा. Okay, and the tax is 1 lakh rupees. There is a difference of 20,000. This 20,000 has to be paid DRC 03. This difference DRC 03. Now again come back to my case study. So 80,000 in GSTR 3B, 90,000 in GSTR 1. I have to disclose entire 1 lakh rupees in and 1,000 since I have not paid in financial year 21-22. I have to pay the interest. So I have to pay 3 and 1 lakh it will get matched. Okay. To the case study 5. Just a minute. Please calling. Give me a minute. Sorry. Okay. Study 5. As per books, it is 1 lakh rupees. As per GSTR 3B, it is 1 lakh 20,000. And as per GSTR 1, it is 1 lakh rupees. So now in this scenario, I have paid excess. While filing GSTR 3B, I made an excess payment of 20,000 rupees. And this excess payment I have adjusted in 21-22. So then what I'm supposed to do in table 4, again, since I have adjusted in 21-22, I'll go as per 3B. I'll show 1,20,000 in table 4 and 20,000 I'll show in table 11. Okay, and the total of it will be table 11 is nothing but reducing liability in the next year. This is my table 11. Supplies or tax reduced through amendment in the next financial year. Okay, so I'll disclose 20,000 over here, and ultimately the figures of 1 lakh rupees flow. 120 ऊपर आया, 20,000 नीचे. Ultimately the net amount is 1 lakh rupees. 1 lakh will match because as per books 9C में 1 lakh आ रहा है. 1 lakh will match, and my GSTR 99C is okay to go ahead. What if I have in the next situation, my as per books is 1 lakh rupees. In GSTR 3B, I have disclosed 1 lakh 20,000. In GSTR 1, it is 1 lakh rupees. And I have not done 20,000 adjustment in the next financial year. I have forgot to adjust it. Okay, I have made an excess payment of 1 lakh 20,000. Then what will happen? Then since I have not made any adjustment in the next financial year, my books will prevail. So 1 lakh rupees will come into table 4. Okay, what will happen? See, 1 lakh rupees come over here. Okay, and I have paid 120. So table 9, I have to change 1 lakh rupees, and I have paid 1 lakh 20,000. Okay, so see, my 9C will match because my 9C 1 lakh figure will flow from there. 1 lakh, it will match. It should match. Okay, this will table 10 last. So last case study ka tha. So 1 lakh and 1 lakh. So my 9C will match. Okay, everything will match. There will be a difference in table 9 of GSTR 9 of 20,000. So what I'm supposed to do, I now on this basis, once I file this GSTR 9 on this basis, I have to apply for the refund because I have paid an excess payment of 20,000 which I have foregone to adjust, and now the time limit of adjustment has gone. So within 2 years from the date of making excess payment, I am eligible to claim the refund. So I have to apply for the refund in such a cases, claim refund of excess paid. So these are the 6 case studies on the basis of my outward supplies. Any questions I am happy to take. Please do write in chat box. I hope I am very much clear where to disclose which type of values. Now coming to the ITC. Let's assume the similar scenario which is happening in ITC. So let's see case 1. Okay, this is my case 1. Okay, as per credit as per books is 3,000 rupees. Okay, so as we all know, table 12A represent ITC availed as per audited financial statement. यहाँ पे 12,000 रुपए आ जाएगा. It's sorry 3,000 रुपए आ जाएगा. So credit as per books is 3,000. Credit shown. So 3,000 will be part of table 9C 12A. So 12A में 3,000 आ गया. I'll mention 3,000 over here. Then credit shown in GSTR 3B 2000. So what will auto populated in table 6B? Since I have claimed only 2000, auto population will be 2000. Okay, I have to give the bifurcation. Let's assume everything belongs to input service. I have given 2000 ka bifurcation. Okay, this 2000 will automatically flow over here. Now 1000 will be unreconciled balance. Okay, let's see what we can do. Suppose this 1000 has been claimed in financial year 21-22. There can be two scenarios. As per books 3000, 3B में लिया 2000 रुपए 2000. The difference is 1000. There can only be two possibilities. Either I have claimed this 1000 in the next financial year, or I have not claimed it at all. Okay, only two scenario can be possible. If I have claimed in the next financial year, where to show? There is a table 13. I'll show over here, table 13, 1000 rupees, that I have claimed 1000 in the next financial. What will happen over here? Over here, that there is some ITC which have been booked in the current financial year and it has to be claimed in the next financial year. It will come as a negative figure over here, 12C. And it will get matched. So this is what I have booked in the current financial year, but I have claimed in subsequent financial year. See, my ITC was 3000. I could claim only 2000. 1000 I have claimed in the next financial year. So 1000 is the figure which I have booked in 2021, but I have claimed in 21-22. So there is a specific column to disclose if that ITC booked in current financial year to be claimed in subsequent financial year. So this is we have to show. Let's assume. So let's see what will happen in 21-22, because similarly adjustment we have done in 1920. Now those effects we have to give. There are two options available. First option, that in 21-22, let's assume credit as per book 6000 tha. In 21-22, 2021 close hua 1000 rupees, 1000 rupees we are taking it forward. Now in 21-22, now in 21-22, okay, what will happen about this ITC? So let's assume there was ITC of 6000. Okay, everything was matching 6000 ITC. Okay, now what will happen? Suppose मैंने सब सही किया. Okay, 6000 मैं उस साल का लूंगा 21-22 का, and 1000 I'll take for the this year which I have forgot. Okay, so my table 6 will show 7000. I'll give the bifurcation of 7000. This 7000 will flow. Okay, there will be nothing in table 13. This 7000 will flow. Again, there's a difference of 1000. What will I do? I'll show ITC booked in earlier financial year but claimed in this financial year. What was the amount? So whatever I have disclosed in 12C in the last financial year will become 12B this financial year. So I'll do 1000 rupees over here, 7000 matching, and it will match. This is one methodology. Okay, though table 12BC is optional. BC, you can for the financial year 2021 you can make all the adjustment in table 12A. You don't have to disclose separately in 12B and 12C. But for the purpose of sake of presentation, I thought I'll explain it to you. Then what is the second option? The second option which we were discussing at that time, if you remember, that the ITC of the current financial year has to be shown over here only. Okay, so out of this 7000, how much pertains to financial year 21-22? 6000, because 1000 rupees we have claimed for 21-22. Sorry, 2021. Okay, so 6000 is for current financial year. There'll be a difference of 1000 rupees. Okay, the difference will flow over here. There'll be यहाँ पे कुछ नहीं आएगा. It will, this column will become redundant. Okay, 6000 will become 0. Okay, this is another option which people are following. I feel that this is more accurate option. Okay, however, as per press release, this option has to be followed. But if we follow the second option, guys, friends, you might be able to understand, then this column will become redundant. Okay, now, so this is, you know, about GSTR 99C. Now we can take up the queries. Any queries, any area which I might have missed, anything you want to know, we can take it up one by one.
There is a question in the chat box. Vipul has said here.
Yes. What we will do if ITC claimed more in GSTR 3B? Okay. So the question is that what we will do if the ITC is more in GSTR 3B? Let's assume, let's create this scenario. I have credit as per books 3000. Credit shown is 3B is my 4000. Okay. And there can be two possibility. One, I have reduced this ITC in the next financial year. One, that I have not reduced. So first, let's see, I have adjusted this excess claim in 21-22. Okay, what will happen? So over here, my ITC as per books will come, 3000 will come. Okay, now over here 4000 will come, because 4000 I have claimed in GSTR 3B. It will automatically get populated. Let's assume this entire ITC belongs to input services. So I will disclose 4000 over here. Okay. Then what will happen, that I have reduced this ITC in the next financial year. What will happen, that I'll go to table 12. Okay. There's a table 12. Table 12 is here. Reversal of ITC availed during this financial year, which I have reversed in April 21 to September 21. So I'll disclose 1000 rupees over here. I have claimed 4000, but I have reduced 1000 in the next financial year. What will happen to GSTR 9C? Let's see. यहाँ पे 3000 आएगा. Okay, here you'll again have, you'll have negative 1000 that you have reversed, and 4000 it will get matched. This is a scenario where ITC, we have adjusted the ITC in the next financial year. Assume a scenario that you have not adjusted anything. Okay, you have not adjusted, it is zero. Okay, you have claimed excess ITC. Now at the time of filing GSTR 99, you have realized that you have claimed excess ITC. Let us do this. Credit as per books 3000. Okay, this is nothing. You have not adjusted anything. यहाँ पे zero हो जाएगा. Next year you have not done anything. Okay, there's a difference. You have claimed 4000 and there's a difference of 1000 you have claimed excess. Okay, now what I'm supposed to do, as per press release and in my humble opinion also, what we should do, that यहाँ पे 4000 आया, here we disclose the bifurcation of 4000. We should go to column 7H, other reversal. We disclose 1000 over here. Okay, we have to disclose over here, and then we should pay it through DRC03. Okay, in 9C it will automatically get matched because 3000 हो गया. जो earlier difference that will covered by table 7. Here we can make a remark that the registered person paid ITC or reversed ITC of NR 1000 through DRC03 and disclosed in table 7H of GSTR 9. I think this we should do in such a scenario. Anything else? I hope I am able to answer your query. Any other query? Okay, so since we have 15 minutes left and we have no more queries, I'll quickly, can discuss few adjustments which we generally do, at the time of GSTR 9C. I have highlighted certain adjustments over here, that how to go from sales registered to. So let me discuss few, prevalent adjustments we generally do. So If there is no difference, so friends, please understand that if there's a difference between TB and sales register, then only any kind of adjustment will come into play in GSTR 9C. When we say sales register and TB, sales register is your invoice listing. If there is a difference between invoice listing or GST invoice listing and your trial balance, I mean your revenue which you have disclosed in the audited financial statement, then only you have to do any adjustment in GSTR 9C. It's a conceptual. I am sure as a chartered accountant we all understand this concept. Okay, so suppose there is an interest received in trial balance, however you have not raised any invoice for it, so it warrant an adjustment, right? So what type of adjustment you can do? Either you can reduce that interest amount in FIFO from, so suppose this 15 is included, your revenue is 115, however your invoice listing is 100 only, so this 15 is not liable to tax. It warrant an adjustment. There can be two adjustment which is possible. One, that you can show this 15 in table 5 of GSTR 9C, you can reduce over here, you can reduce over here minus 50, or you can show 15 in income in GSTR 9. I would suggest to disclose it as an exempt income, because interest is an exempt income as per notification as per GST law. You can disclose over here. So this 15 will become, there'll be, it is 115, and suppose 100 and 100 is anyway my taxable value, and 15 is interest. So see, 115 was my value including interest. 15 I have to adjust. 15, what I have done, either I can reduce 15 from over here, so it will become 100, 100 and 100, or what I have done, I have disclosed 15 over here in my exempt income. So this is one adjustment I think we should do. Interest is very common which we receive in financial statements. Then some dividend similar adjustment. If dividend is there, let's assume a scenario that 125 was there and 10 rupees of dividend, I think we should disclose 10 rupees over here and my turnover will match. So these are few adjustment which I have mentioned: duty drawback income, export incentive. Yeah, one more thing, sale of MEIS license. Guys, sale of MEIS license or SEIS license is an exempt income and it warrant reversal under rule 42. So whenever you are making GST and 990, please be careful. One mistake which we have noticed regularly is that generally we don't do reversal under rule 42. Rule 42 provides that if I am providing taxable as well as exempt service, I am supposed to do reversal under rule 42. Whatever common services I have used, I have to do proportionate reversal. So one is that sale of securities. Wherever, in whatever company you are doing, whatever clients you are doing, if you have transaction in securities, please consider 1% of the value, sale value, as exempt service and provide for the 42 reversal. Similarly, wherever you are having export and import and your client is having MEIS SEIS license and he's selling in the market, he's selling any kind of FTP scrip, that also, since that scrip is exempt, that also warrant a reversal under rule 42. Please be mindful about that. And exchange rate fluctuations, obviously we have a separate column in 5N over here, that any kind of foreign exchange can be mentioned over here. So these are few adjustments which I'll share across this Excel with you. So these are a few adjustments which we can do as per this in our general course. Sir, any queries? I think I'm done. If any queries are there, I can take it up.
No, in the chat box, there are no questions.
Okay, sir. I think that's from my side. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for inviting me today. If there is anything, I'll share across my contact detail. If any participants feel any kind of queries or any difficulties while preparing GSTR 99C, I'm always there to help.
Yeah, let us wait for 5 minutes. If participants are sending any queries in the chat box or question answer session, we can take that. If any of the participants wants to ask the questions directly to the speaker, you can raise your hands so that the organizer will make you as panelist, so you can directly ask the question. Yes, Vibhul, you can ask directly. Vibhul, unmute and ask.
मेरे चल रहा है काम अरे रौनक
Hello. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, you can
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, I have one query. If I claim GSTR 3B more ITC, so in ITC column it's showing 2A is less than whichever ITC I claimed in 3B. So then
Okay. Are you talking about table 8A? Matlab, so you have the invoices. What I understand, you have invoices and you have claimed rightly on the basis of invoices. But in table 8A, it is lesser amount,
yes,
right?
yeah.
So I think now the law is very clear. After introduction of Rule 36(4), you should, at the time of filing September return, we were supposed to reduce that ITC, whatever was not reflected by the vendor in GSTR 2B. So ideally, I should have reduced that. And if you are not doing that, I am sure ASMT 10 notice is on way. So the way they are sending notices, definitely they'll send it across that there's a difference between GSTR 2B and ITC which you have claimed. So either you have to take a position that the 36(4) or 16(2) AA is not applicable on you, or you have to defend that court in law. So in idealistic scenario, if ITC belongs to after October, post October, then we are suggesting, post October 19, we are suggesting that we should, reduce it, or we should pay it through DRC 03.
Okay, sir.
Okay, and there is no disclosure required in GSTR 9.
What about GST lapse? We need to carry forward it, or we need to lapse? We need to show as a lapse only. The ITC claim lesser than which is
Okay, so in a scenario,
because till that period GSTR 9C and 9 we are filing, we already crossed the September, that's 6 months, right?
yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, so in that case, what we need to do?
So there are two scenarios which people are doing. One thing is that, if you have ITC, if you have accounted for that ITC, let's assume in 2021, and you have, those ITC have been reflected by the vendor in GSTR 2A, but you forgot to claim in GSTR 3B. So in ideal scenario, the time limit has gone. You should disclose in table 8D. We have a table that, where you can show ineligible ITC lapsed due to any reason. You can disclose over there. And any difference you can show in GSTR 9C. So in 12A you'll show as per books. 12C will automatically come that 12D will automatically come, and there'll be a difference of 100 rupees. So let's assume 100 rupees is as per books and you have claimed 90. So there'll be a 10 rupees of difference in GSTR 9C. You can make a comment that this ITC have been lapsed and registered person has not claimed it. Or what people are doing, some people are doing, they are saying that we have claimed in April month, and then April month ITC they are deferring. So there are ways which people are managing, but to answer you legally is that you should disclose that 10 rupees is a difference in GSTR 9C, and you mention a remark that the ITC have been lapsed.
Okay, sir. Okay, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Vimal, you can unmute and you can ask questions. Vimal, you have any question? Because your name is reflecting there. You can unmute if you have any questions. I think no more questions now. I would request our study circle member, CA Gautam Juvekar, to do the formal vote of thanks. Gautam, please.
Hello everyone. So I would like to thank CA Gautam Lath on behalf of all members of Panvel CP Study Circle and attendees of today's session to enlighten us on practical aspect of annual return and reconciliation in GST R9 SC. During the session, CA Gautam encouraged the participant to post queries on the issues faced. This helped us as a group to share our experience and enrich each other with the knowledge without even handling a particular situation practically. And even he contributed his own experience. Further, CA Gautam also took us through the practical aspect of reconciliation of turnover in audited financial statement with turnover in GSTR 9, practical issues of financials of construction industry where they are following POCM accounting, doing cross charges for units which are in different state, taking capital good classification separately, importance of HSN code, which most likely than not will be mandatory soon. This helped us to gear up us for coming session of the GSTR filing. I would also like to thank committee members for arranging this session and giving me an opportunity to give a vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I would also like to thank Study Circle for having me here. Thank you.
Thank you, Gautam ji. It's actually wonderful session. You have explained the whole things, even practical. Your Excel was wonderful. I think you will share the Excel also, so that we can share that in our study group, study circle group, so members can take benefit of that. And you have explained everything from the basic level, how we can fill all the things in the GSTR 9 and 9C. Normally the speakers, they start from GSTR 9, but you have started from 9C and explained that how we can do the reverse things. It was a very you can say interesting session, and I think in the coming days our members will be benefited from this, because after this tax audit, as I explained in the after 15th February, our members will start doing the GSTR and GSTR 9 and GSTR 9C work, and we have to complete before 28th February. So definitely it will be helpful to our members. And if any of our members have any kind of queries or doubt, definitely we will send you through email or we will contact you. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for your contribution. And when I approach you for this seminar, without a second thought, you accepted our invitation. And from our study circle, I extend again the word of thanks, or you can say that from the bottom of our heart, we are very much thankful to you for your contributions to the study circle.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It was pleasure. And please, anything, anyone have any kind of queries, I would really, whatever I can do in my capacity, I would be really, thankful to you. If anyone can reach out to me, I would happy to help, sir. It will be my pleasure.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much. I think with this we can conclude this session. We will meet again in the future. Himanshu, I think we can close this session now.
Okay, sir. Yes.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye, sir.